we have something called Ajio 1.0 and Ajio 1.2.0.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a new user, probably what you open the app and you're going to scroll through to see is Ajio 1.0, which is your platform where you've not shopped. There's no data on you other than your personal data which you've put, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once you shop, once you search for brands, once you search for sneakers, for example, Nike sneakers, you search for Puma sneakers, then the app and the platform starts to understand what do you like,
Mm-hmm.
what brands do you like. Do you like mass market brands? You like premium brands? You like luxury brands, right? So then that data helps a lot in sort of trimming down your choices of what you like as a
Right.
shopper.
Mm-hmm.
What type of fashion do you choose? Do you like brands which are sustainably, more conscious? Do you like brands which are a little more fast fashion? So once that data is in, and once you surpass probably a couple of orders you've purchased, then the next time you open Ajio app, you're going to see 2.0 interface.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 2.0 interface is tailored for you as a shopper, and that's something only you can see. No other shopper can see that. So probably when you open, you will see recommendations of the brands that you like,
Right.
the products that you've purchased before, and what would you like to purchase with it. You will see a lot of content, editorial content about brands.
Hi everyone, welcome to Kofluence Unplugged. I'm your host Aritra. Now today we're talking about how the new age social media and influencer marketing world looks like. From immersive storytelling to social listening, there are so many concepts and buzzwords that are very hard to keep track of, right? It's like your world is spinning and there is too much going on around you. But worry not, today we are going to make sense of some of it with our guest today, Sayooj. Sayooj is the lead of PR and corporate communications at Ajio. Prior to Ajio, he's also worked with brands such as Avian V and Leap. So, without any further ado, please join me in welcoming Sayooj. Hi, Sayooj, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself,
Mhm.
what you currently do in Ajio, how you got into PR and corporate communications in the first place?
Okay. So I currently lead all all corporate communication, all brand communication at Ajio,
Mm-hmm.
including PR, content strategy, creative communication. Um, Getting into PR, I think that was something I was very much focused on. I think from the very early stages of my career, I've not done anything other than PR.
Mm-hmm.
I've started off working in the aviation sector in Bombay. So I
Mm-hmm.
used to handle communications for Bombay Airport, right? And that's probably my first step of first taste of crisis communication, because Bombay Airport things used to go haywire all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There is some plane landing right off the runway. There is planes delayed. There's something or the other. So yeah, aviation was first. There was Singapore Airlines. There was Qatar Airways, Singapore Tourism. So aviation was my first sector
Mm-hmm.
that I had my experience in PR, and then once I shifted my base back to Bangalore, is when I got into consumer technology,
Mm-hmm.
and I joined my agency's counterpart business here in Amazon's consumer team. We used to handle consumer communications for businesses of Amazon, like Amazon Business, Amazon Prime, and things of that sort. After that stint is when I've shifted to a more tactical, or more, let's say, more hands-on startup world, right? Where things are a little more fluid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything can happen anytime, because startups function in that way. They're more agile
Mm-hmm.
versus in Amazon. So I joined an edtech firm called Leap, where I used to head communications and PR. We did wonderful work at the time we were there. We launched industry reports. We worked with embassies. Leap was in the business of higher education, where we
Mm-hmm.
had to work with a lot of counterparts in other countries like your Germany, UK, US, right? So we used to work with a lot of universities abroad. So that was a fantastic tenure in edtech, and after that is when I joined Ajio, leading their communications, all things fashion, um, wonderful business. We've got to work with a lot of international exclusive brands that is under the Reliance umbrella. Again, some fantastic creative work that's happening.
Yeah, Ajio is on a great stride at the moment. So I'm hoping you're having a very fruitful experience with him.
Yeah.
Right. So actually, Sayooj, I was scrolling through your LinkedIn profile and I came across something rather interesting. So I thought I'd begin this conversation with asking you this first. Um, I guess we have all heard of the expression that all publicity is good publicity. I saw a post on it, so I was very curious about your take on it. So I thought I'd just ask you here. All publicity is good publicity. Do you think it's still relevant today, especially when we are in this influencer culture wherein, one negative post can do a lot for a brand's reputation? Absolutely in the negative way.
Yeah.
So, do you think any kind of publicity is good, or do you not agree with that at all?
I think the key word from that question is reputation, right? So, all publicity is not good publicity. I think that's a very age-old term. In a world where we are digitally first, we want our brand to be in good space. Imagery is very important, and especially if you're a publicly listed company. Bad publicity affects your stocks, your stock price, right? So all publicity, I think we are in a world where a lot of brands are founder first. Like I'll take a Zomato's example, right? I can take an Ola's example. These are brands that are led, the image is led by the founder.
Right.
So it's a very vulnerable space, but also a very powerful space, right? A founder can make very strong, let's say, an impression on someone who's reading something about a new brand announcement, new corporate launch, where the founder himself is coming forward and saying, listen, we've launched this and why we've launched it, what is the purpose of that launch. It's a great way. But also that leaves a lot of gap in terms of not being properly vetted, right? The whole idea of having a corporate communications team is to be very sure in terms of the media, legal friends of what you're talking, what you're putting out there is legally adept, has no restrictions in terms of taken in the wrong way, right? And being taken in the right way is what is probably one of the biggest challenges in brand communications right now, because brand intent would be different from what is perceived by people. We've had a lot of marketing campaigns that went the wrong way, right? But the intention of the brand was right, and later the brand had to come back and say sorry for it. So I think then in that space, all publicity is not good publicity. I mean, if you have to look at it from a perspective of, is people talking about your brand? Yes. Are they definitively talking in the good sense? No. So then the whole idea of reputation changes, right?
Yeah.
You just don't want people to just talk about your brand. You want people to talk good things about your brand.
Right.
You need people to be loyalists of your brand, right? They need to be able to tell other people, listen, I've heard about this brand and they do good work. So
yeah, I also have a certain opinion on this. So I also think that brands and individuals who kind of capitalize on bad publicity or bad PR are usually ones who are in the position to do it, or they already have a stronghold in the market that it wouldn't matter as much.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. So not recently, I think this was 2019. Tesla came up with their Cybertrucks.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if you've heard about this incident, but their Cybertrucks, the windows on there were supposed to be unbreakable.
And Elon
but
broke it.
Yeah, during the
demo.
During the demo launch,
Yeah.
the window shattered and it got them a lot of bad publicity. And initially, there were a lot of talking about it. But then Elon Musk kind of came in and he wrote a tweet about it on Twitter, something very witty and sarcastic, very transparent, heartfelt as well. And that kind of changed the narrative, and then the media started picking up on that. That got viral, and that kind of subsided the initial impact, the initial bad PR that they have.
Yeah.
Right? But I think it could only happen in their case because it was Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Because he is already a polarizing figure in the industry.
Yeah.
Right? He already has a certain brand persona about him. If it was any other brand, I think it would have been very difficult for them to recover.
Yeah.
So do you think that is something that also comes into the picture?
Interestingly, Tesla is a company that does not have a marketing communications team.
Right.
Right. And Elon himself is told.
Personal branding is, I think,
Personal
something
branding
that
is something that is built, probably SpaceX, Tesla, all of his brands are built that way.
Right.
But again, Elon can tweet anything any day, and you
Exactly.
don't know where Tesla stocks are going. So,
Right.
as an investor, would I want to buy Tesla stocks? I'm
Mm-hmm.
very scared
Mm-hmm.
because he can do anything overnight,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, that is something you need to look at.
Mm-hmm.
You can, I mean, anything in the media which is news today, probably 10 days down the line, media forgets about it because there's new things coming.
Right.
So, yes, people do forget about what you've told today, but again, it's a concept of trust, and brands need to be trusted in today's world. People value brands for what they stand for, the values, the ethics. Is a purpose-driven brand. I think purpose-driven brand is probably one of the best ways to future-proof your brand. If you want your brand to stand for something, uh, I think that's what people care more about. I mean, people care about your products, yes, your marketing, great, your services, great. But I think now there is a generation of shoppers who care more about ideas like sustainability, right? What do I buy and how does it affect the environment, right? Um, Circular fashion, like for example, these are things people are very concerned about, and that's a good thing. Like the newer generation, the newer generation of shoppers want to be more conscious about the choices they make in terms of brands. So that trust building is a very integral part of the whole marketing funnel.
Also, the newer generation is more. I mean, they are less naive.
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah.
because they can sniff out when actually brands are doing something that's actually sustainable,
Yeah.
actually, doing it for the right reasons,
Exactly.
or they are trying to, wash it and go about it the wrong way. I think audiences now also become very, very
Yeah.
much
See,
more.
I think that's also a consequence of being a digitally first
Right.
brand, right? Brands have multiple ways of getting in touch with the audience now. It's not an olden day where probably it's just print or a radio announcement where you get to hear what a brand has to say. Could be an ad, could be probably an apology for something that went wrong. But there are multiple touch points for a customer with the brand and for a brand with the customer, that it's become a bigger funnel now. So
Right.
you need to look at the entire spectrum and how that affects your relationship with your customer.
Right. Now, I want to dig a little bit deeper into how social media and influencer marketing is seeing a facelift, I
Yeah.
would like to call it. Because, I mean, especially so, I believe in the last 5 to 10 years, is that we've seen this very seismic shift, right? So, and then again, since you come in e-commerce background, so I want to ask along those lines. Uh, in e-commerce space also, what we are seeing is a lot of platforms are moving towards the gamified experience side of things, wherein there
Yeah.
are a lot of novel technologies, not novel anymore, but augmented reality, virtual reality, all of that is being implemented onto the platforms.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know what's your insight on, when, like, how does the future of this space look like to you? I mean, how will online shopping, you think, evolve in the future given all these technological advancements?
I think it's evolved a lot in terms of multiple pillars, right? Personalization is one. People like things that are tailored for their choices. So something, what I can say from an Ajio's perspective, what we've done is content personalization is a big pillar of our platform. Probably if you're a new user, we have something called Ajio 1.0 and Ajio 1.2.0. If you're a new user, probably what you open the app and you're going to scroll through to see is Ajio 1.0, which is your platform where you've not shopped, there's no data on you other than your personal data which you've put, right? So once you shop, once you search for brands, once you search for sneakers, for example, Nike sneakers, you search for Puma sneakers, then the app and the platform starts to understand what do you like, what brands do you like. Do you like mass market brands? You like premium brands? You like luxury brands, right? So then that data helps a lot in sort of trimming down your choices of what you like as a shopper. What type of fashion do you choose? Do you like brands which are sustainably, more conscious? Do you like brands which are a little more fast fashion? So once that data is in, and once you surpass probably a couple of orders you've purchased, then the next time you open Ajio app, you're going to see 2.0 interface. Now, 2.0 interface is tailored for you as a shopper. And that's something only you can see. No other shopper can see that. So probably when you open, you will see recommendations of the brands that you like,
Right.
the products that you've purchased before, and what would you like to purchase with it. You will see a lot of content, editorial content about brands, about styles. We have something called Ajio Trendin. Right now, Trendin is something which is very, very dynamic in terms of the content we produce, in terms of the current fashion trends. There is Copcore, there is Normcore, vintage fashion coming back. Right, so that's a place where we talk a lot about the current trends and probably what the future of fashion will look like. And for a very fashion forward customer, that's great content. I would want to know what the fashion would look like in probably next 1 year, and then accordingly try on more stuff. So that's how personalization is becoming a big pillar in shopping experience. I think second is probably experiences that you can give to your customer outside of the app, right? Pop culture integration. Now, I've given you an example. I think what Zomato did with Spider-Man, the movie. Like,
Yeah.
now the purpose and the objective of such integration is to put the brand name where you have your pop cultural references out there, like the movies, Bollywood, for example, right? We did a very recent integration with this movie called Crew, right, where Karina is ordering. Um, so such pop cultural references and embedding your brand over there plays a lot, especially in the current um, the Gen Z shoppers who are very much digitally savvy. Movies, music, that industry itself is very much tied to fashion. A lot of concerts that we do. Something that we recently did was Backstreet Boys Tour of India. So these are spaces where we are able to create phygital experiences where you're down there for a concert and then you see a huge kiosk of Ajio with a lot of dresses, a lot of brands, where you can get time to go and actually try them on and then shop.
With such level of personalization, these immersive experiences, right? Don't you think, and also an added layer of cybersecurity and all of that also comes into play? I'll give you an example. I think a recent incident that comes to mind is that I think a year or so back, Facebook collaborated with Ray-Ban for these smart glasses,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So these smart glasses had all features enabled. They had your cameras embedded, microphones, speakers, all of that, so that you can capture any moment on the go. So that was kind of the end goal. But we also saw a lot of skeptics who did not really enjoy the concept as much because there was, I mean, any which way, Facebook does not have the best track record
Yeah,
with
yeah.
data and data sharing, right? So there was a concern that with such personal information being shared, that those information then be misutilized, or it can be taken in a wrong way. So what is your opinion on that? Is that something that should be given a lot of
Importance, yes.
importance?
Privacy is a very important factor, not just shopping but anything online, right? Uh, and when especially when now talking from an e-commerce perspective, there is your personal information out there, there is your payment information out there. So protection of such things, I think, is also legally bound, which gives it that added layer of security. And I think over the last years, there's a lot of amendments that has happened from an IT law perspective
Yeah.
to actually protect the user online in terms of sharing information, in terms of information being leaked, right? So I think the government itself has made a lot of digitally capable amendments to the law that is now given an ultra layer of security to shopping online. But as an organization, yes, privacy and security of the user information is very, very important. And that's, I think, the core of, again, going back to trust. Is the core of holding the trust of a customer that your information is safe with us. And what we are using that is to give you a better experience of shopping so that you don't have to probably scroll through hundreds and hundreds of shopping items or pages or tops or jeans. You probably see what you like in the first 2 pages.
I think also with influencer marketing, something that we see right now is so many new tech has come in, deep fakes, right? Then we have so many other things like virtual influencers are now a thing. So it's becoming increasingly difficult for audiences as well to discern what's actually real, what's not, what's AI, what's human, right? So how do you think that is going to shape up, especially when it comes to the influencer-driven world that we are living in right now?
I think what it suddenly reminds me of, we have a lot of AI influencers also right now, Myra and all of that, right? And they do brand collabs. Brands do want to work with them.
Yeah.
And we had cases of deep fakes where the government was involved. We had
Yeah.
actresses involved.
Yeah.
Uh, the problem with this, I think, problem with tech as a whole is the way it's regulated,
Mm-hmm.
right? And with respect to influencers, also we have ASCII, we have government looking at more influencers. In fact, we have government working with influencers, right, to promote tourism, to promote different things. Uh, I think there is more in terms of Indian context. I think influencers and the world of influencer marketing is something which is evolving at a very fast pace.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, until probably 5 years back, putting hashtag ad was not a thing,
Right.
right, for brand collabs. And then now that became a rule, that became a mandate. I think we're slowly evolving into legally being adaptive to the current influencer ecosystem. And I think a lot of regulations are on its way, which also involves your deepfakes, your AIs.
Mm-hmm.
How do you use AI with respect to creating content online? Not just influencers, but overall. Brands use a lot of AI right now. Could be a chat GPT, could be the Sora AI powered images. Um, I think India is at a cusp right now in terms of AI, in terms of digital content, that we probably now need to look at more regulations to regulate the content, to have a more stringent ecosystem which is safe,
Right.
but also enables a lot of such innovations to come on board, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think brands embrace innovations. Brands
Mm-hmm.
love innovations, if whether it's AI today or something else tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
CGI is something which we've seen a lot
Mm-hmm.
in the past couple of months. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
brands using CGI. I think it started with Maybelline in the US, where they started rolling out a campaign, and then we saw a lot of brands in India pick it up.
Holograms as well.
Yes, holograms as well.
Mm-hmm.
Virtual reality again is
Yeah.
something over there. Mixed reality again, something. All of these things are, I mean, innovation in any form or matter is something brands love to try,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a new way to engage,
Mm-hmm.
right? But with such innovation should also come a lot of newer regulations where we have these things under check, under control,
Mm-hmm.
where there is no misuse of data, where there is no misuse of images,
Mm-hmm.
where copyright laws are not infringed,
Right.
things like that. So I think that evolution is happening,
Mm-hmm.
and more of such laws and guidelines are on its way.
Right. Also, there's a lot of miscommunication, misinformation that gets
Yeah,
spread
yeah.
with all of this. I think on a user level, there are a lot of things that we ourselves can do. I mean, not everything is in our control,
Yeah,
but how we look at content, how we share content, we can definitely do certain things about it. As a user, I would urge our audiences to always vet the sources
yeah,
before they come across a content and they want to share it with their
yeah,
communities.
yeah,
Ensure that reputed sources are talking about it.
yeah,
Maybe check on multiple sources,
yeah.
if not
Let,
one.
let, let's not be a WhatsApp forward society,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
definitely. I mean,
We
just
have to cross check. I think Meta has also taken a lot of
yeah,
such initiatives where you're able to verify the source. But again, anything you see online cannot be definitely believed. You need to check on your sources. You need to check something before you share it ahead.
right.
And that responsibility is on you as a user.
Yeah, right. Now, moving to another topic here, but something that I also find very fascinating, especially now since we're talking about the new age of social media, is how initially social media and the internet was more so an outlet for communication and putting your stuff out there. Now it's also an inlet for data and information for
Yeah.
brands,
Yeah.
for brand marketers,
Yeah.
right? I am specifically talking about social listening here.
Hmm.
So, for those who might be unfamiliar with what social listening is, can you first break down the concept a little bit?
Yeah, so it's a larger world of, I'd say, online reputation management, (ORM), where you are very, very vigilant about what's being spoken about your brand
Mm-hmm.
online. Now, when I say online, it can be anywhere. It can be your platforms, your social platforms. It can be Twitter. It can be Facebook, where people mention your brands, where people have conversation about your brands. It can be as simple as someone asking, "Oh, maybe what should I buy in this category? I'm a new father. Which brand should I buy for my baby?" Right? And people giving recommendations to someone who has a problem with the product,
Mm-hmm.
who says, "Hey, I bought this from this brand and I'm facing this issue." To a place where social media is a place where crisis evolves, right? Maybe crisis starts, and that requires a lot of listening. There are tools that enable you to track all conversations online, but the whole concept of online reputation management is to ensure that your brand is in the right space online and is being talked about in the right space, and you're able to address those concerns that is being spoken about by your customers and audience in general.
In terms of social listening as well, I think one of the most frequently asked questions is that can social listening help me with lead generation?
Hmm.
What is your take on that?
Social listening can definitely help you with lead generation, because social listening, you don't just listen to your brand, but you also listen to your competition. Right? It's an overarching tool. Um, Suppose I have Wi-Fi from an X brand. I'm facing a lot of disconnections on my Wi-Fi, and I go to Twitter and I say, hey, at this brand, I'm facing so much of issues. Can you help me resolve this? Now, if the competition brand is listening to that and has tagged to that keyword, they get to know that their competition's customer is facing a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably when my brand acts up and says, let me DM this person. Let me tell you, probably I have a better service.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you switch? Why don't we get in touch with you and help set you up?
Mm-hmm.
So those are lead generation possibilities that you have online, where customers are probably not happy with the competition brands, and that gives you a lot of space as the brand to go and get in touch with them, to understand what their problems are and also help out with your products.
Right. Also, I think with social, when you get so much of aggregate data from social listening, you can also combine some of your social engineering tactics.
Yeah.
Say your the FOMO, getting the FOMO, the urgency in the social proof. You can combine some of that to actually get an elicit, basically a positive response from your customer. Say a well-timed discount, right? That notification on your phone that says that stocks are running out. Go ahead, purchase right now. So definitely they can be work together and actually can help you get that last nudge to the customer, right?
Yes, definitely. There are a lot of case studies with this, where people are tagging founders of brands and saying, hey, I faced this issue, where they're giving genuine insights as a customer, like, this is a problem that I faced. Could you do something about it? There are cases where, I think the latest being Blinkit's case, where Albinder, I think, responded to someone saying the user had it wasn't even a problem. The user said, I was ordering something, and then my mom noticed that you're charging for dhania. Now, India is a value conscious market, right? And mom found it very, very weird that you're charging for dhania, because she's not aware of how the quick commerce market functions and how it's charged. And then he said, in India, you are never charged for dhania when you go grocery shopping. And Albinder replied to that. He said, yeah, that's true. Why don't I do this? Why don't we roll out a feature where above an order limit, above a certain order value, we'll give you free dhania? And that was rolled out.
And they did.
In the same day. In the same day it was rolled out. So that then shows you how important ORM and social listening is. You're able to roll out features so fast and address customer concerns, that you're being a very agile company, but also a customer-first company. That you're addressing problems where the founder is out there saying that, let me resolve this for you. We're working on it. In 24 hours, we'll roll this out.
And see how well that worked, because then again, media outlets picked up this whole story.
Yes.
Me and you know about it. How? Because we read about it somewhere. And then that increases your brand visibility as well. Forget lead generation. You can also think about brand awareness.
Yes.
Because it's trending, and it's something that's being picked up by a lot of media outlets.
Probably that got them a new couple thousand users.
Definitely.
You never know.
Yeah.
So I think ORM, then social listening as a whole, is a bigger gamut, where you can get leads, where you can resolve customer queries, where probably you can get a new insight from customers, right? To roll out what customers need. You understand customers more. You can do research in terms of what customer requirements are, how is it evolving, how is the brand changed, how is the brand perception right now. So it's a bigger space, I think, which is being utilized a lot by brands right now. And then I think there's also a space where brands can actually use the full potential of social listening to not just transform customer service, to not just transform probably lead generation and sales, but to transform your brand as a whole.
With your experience now in Ajio, how would you like to put it? How does Ajio look at public relations and corporate communication? What's their approach like?
So again, being a fashion company, we're very high on visual imagery, right? It's a very important and very, very basic sales tactic in India. In India, which you say, "Jo dikta hai, wo bikta hai," right? So you need to show. If you're selling a brand, or jeans, a top, whatever it is, you need to show it to the customers, right? So in not just PR, but in all our comms, we are very visual led, right? We have like the Ajio 2.0 that I said, which is high on visual imagery. We have a lot of collaborations. We have Bollywood celebs, where we create content with them, influencers, on our social platforms, where we create content with them that appeals to that visual element of customers, and they're able to see what they're shopping for. They're able to know what that brand stands for, what is it that makes them stand out, right? With respect to communications as a whole, uh, Agio is very, very strong on fashion as a pillar of communication, right? So everything we do is around fashion. Everything we talk about is around fashion. There's a new feature that's rolled out. How does it affect end consumers? There's a new platform that we've launched. How does it affect consumers? Very recently, last couple of years, we've seen the rise of D2C brands in India, right? And we saw that opportunity in fashion space as well. You've got the likes of your Urban Monkey, you've got Bonkers Corner, you've got a lot of such D2C brands, Soul Store, right? That does stellar work. And we said, okay, we need a platform that can bring all these brands together, so that if I need something from Soul Store, or if I need something from another brand, I don't need to go to different apps or websites or anything. Come to Ajio, where we have one base, you can shop everything from there. And we made that platform so agile that brands actually get to tell their side of story. It's very content first, interactive, immersive platform that if I am it's actually like if I'm a brand, I can have my storefront on the app. It's like a Instagram page.
Right.
So you'll see a profile of the brand, and then you will see stories of the brand highlights. It's very much Instagram inspired
Right.
scrolling experience that customers get, and that's been getting great response, right? So such innovations and such approaches that we take are led by the insights that define the shopping culture that has emerged in India. People are more value conscious, but not really price conscious. I think that's something that's changed a lot. India has been described has always been described as a price conscious market, right? People always say, okay, you can't sell this in India. This is too overpriced for India. Even great quality, but doesn't matter. Indians will not buy. That's changed a lot.
Definitely.
Key trend that we keep seeing is premiumization, right? Someone who has been shopping for, let's say, an average order value of 2,000 is now shopping for 4,000. They want brands. They want to shop for brands because that's where they see quality. They want to stand out.
Yeah.
They don't want to purchase what they see maybe a couple of others wearing. They want brand identity. They want brands that is focused on sustainability, is focused on circular fashion, has some sort of brand purpose
Right.
that aligns with them, right? So that's there.
So, Sayooj, we usually like to end our episodes with a quick rapid fire round. I would definitely need your hot takes on things, so
Great.
please do not shy away.
I'll try and keep it as hot as possible.
Definitely. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. My first question is deleting negative comments or addressing them publicly? Which
Addressing
one do you
them
think?
publicly.
Okay. Paid, not paid, SMS marketing versus email marketing. Which one do you think is more effective today?
If I have to pick one, I think SMS.
Okay. If you could collaborate with any fictional character for Ajio,
Okay.
who would that be?
Emily in Paris.
Oh, nice. Okay, my next question is any impulse purchase that you have made while shopping online? Your experience.
I love sneakers, so I think sneaker is something that I impulsively buy. It doesn't matter if there's a sale going on or not, but if I see something that I like, I just impulsively purchase it.
That's usually perfumes for me.
Yeah.
Okay. One PR or marketing buzzword that you think should be retired ASAP?
AI.
Hmm. Okay.
Too much usage of AI.
Or is it like redundant at this point?
It's not redundant.
Mm-hmm.
The tech is great, but I think we've come to a place where we've just force-fitting AI into everything, which is not should not be the case,
Mm-hmm.
right? AI is there to automate and enable us to do better things. Now we've sort of slid a little to just force-fitting AI to look cool.
Right.
I think that should stop.
Okay. And my final question is, if there was one TV show or movie that you would recommend that every PR professional should watch,
Mm-hmm.
what would that be?
Mad Men.
Hmm. That's great for marketing. Have you seen Succession?
Yeah,
That's something I
you would
think.
recommend. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's that would be
It's a newer
from my
example. Yeah.
yeah. Very very great show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So great, Sayuj. That was the end of our discussion. I had such a great time talking to you. Very nice insights. I believe our viewers would also have gathered from this episode. Is there anything you would like to address? Say
No,
to our
definitely.
audiences?
Thank you for having me. It's a great opportunity to be able to talk. I love talking about marketing, so it's a great opportunity to be able to talk, to discuss insights, uh, to share with audience what influencer marketing has been going. I mean, what sort of stuff has been going around and what the evolution looks like. So yeah, great. Thanks for having me. I think. Uh, like I mentioned, India is at that cusp of things changing digitally. There's a lot of new stuff that's coming. There's a lot of new international brands that's coming. Shopping experience online is going to change a lot in the future. Yeah.
Great, Sayuj. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here with
Thank
us
you.
today. Thank you. And with that, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of Kofluence Unplugged. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our channel with your friends and family. I'll see you next time. Until then, stay happy, stay kind, and keep Kofluencing. Bye.